You're listening to the Manifesting Miracles podcast. By tuning in today, you're dialing into your frequency of abundance. I'm Michelle J. Lamont, your manifestation master and guide. Ever since 2016, I've been obsessively dedicating my life to uncovering, dissecting, and analyzing every aspect of the practices and modalities in which we call manifestation. You see, you are truly more powerful than you can even imagine and fully capable of manifesting miracles on the daily. I'm going to teach you how to attract a life beyond your wildest dreams using your own divine power. So let's get started manifesting your miracles right now. The truth is that they wanted you broken, not just hurt, shattered. If you have ever been one of those people, all right, who has resonated with the fact that you were not ordinary, that you were never safe, and that you were never blending in with the others, it felt like somehow things were harder for you. Somehow you stood out differently than the others. And being chosen doesn't operate on the buddy system. It's not popularity or a bloodline. You have been sealed. Those battle wounds, those battlefields, you didn't choose them. You're just so important to the collective consciousness that everything in the reality shifts when you step in. All those betrayals, all that loss that hollowed your bones, the illness that stole your breath, it wasn't random. It was assigned. And yet, the audacity of you to survive, you're still here. Still breathing, still fighting. Maybe you're still in survival mode, but I want you to get into the dreamer state. I want you to think of long-term goals as delusional fantasies that you and I are going to manifest together. Want to know why? Because you are anointed. You are sealed. Not lucky, not resilient, sealed. Like titanium dipped in God's light. Chosen to carry the battles that would have broken lesser, weaker souls. So you, yes, you could show the world. Scars are not failures. Scars are not failures. They're fucking receipts of divinity. Your trauma wasn't your fault, but your throne, oh baby, that's our birthright. And to be honest, for years and years, I wore my pain like crown of thorns. I believed my survival was the finale. But then I remembered that I wasn't saved from the fire to sit around and worship the fucking ashes. So today we're going to talk about how to cash the checks that battles wrote. And I want you to know that this is your season. This is your time. We're not going to be distracted by all of these things like the chaos kings want us to be and get off of our path and off of our destiny throughout history. All of these really horrible, terrible atrocities have happened to see who were the weak and who were the strong, who were the sealed, who were the anointed, not the ones who are just going to survive, but the ones who are going to actually take that and forge it into something new. It's why we worship our wounds. In fact, our brain even knows it. Trauma survivor brains show 30% more activity in the default mode network, which is called the DMN. And so that chronic stress shrinks our prefrontal cortex, according to Yale, by near 20%. And that's your manifestation CEO, babe. And we know one thing for sure. Cells tend to duplicate. When we're healthy, our healthy cells are duplicating and growing at a faster rate than our unhealthy cells. So how do we get cancer and stuff like that? The unhealthy cells start to clump together and gather and form until they protrude up and underneath the skin and or inside of our organs. Same thing with our neurons. Our neuronic cells those mirror neurons fire twice as strong in a spiritually awake person, making others feel like your pain is different. When we're no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. And so because you have been in these battles and carried these warrior wounds, you feel like your brokenness is your personality or your personal reality. But your brokenness is a gilded cage where you polish the bars instead of escaping them. You're retelling these stories like it's something to be proud of instead of if it was just a lesson and a chapter, not the whole fucking book. And your nervous system is a sacred warrior, but it's holding a shield against these ghosts that it doesn't need to. It's wasting energy trying to survive, but you're suffering. It isn't your fault. But your sanctification is your fucking responsibility. And so one of the things that I want you to understand is while the others were battling and they got platforms and you got pitfalls. But here's what they don't want you to know. That was preparation. They weren't put on display like you were. You were put through the flame and forged through the fire because you have something that cannot be taken away in fear. You have a destiny bigger than hell can make you hate this world. You were sealed. You were lifted in prayer before you were ever here. You were touched in golden light. And you have a remarkable assignment because look at you now. Look at how incredible you are at dealing with and handling all of these things that would have absolutely crushed and destroyed everyone else. Not you. Not you, baby. And I want to talk about the cardiac issues, the heart-centered of our chakras, the heart intelligence, if you will. You know, I talk about this a lot when I do lives or workshops or something, some things of those natures. And if you work in corporate America and they ever have people that come in and do these workshops, you know what I'm talking about. And if you do, throw my name into HR. But let's talk about the science of this. Because our heart contains 40,000 sensory neurons that send more signals to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. The brain has a mere 17,000 neurons. 17 versus 40. It's not a mindset. Anybody that tells you it's a mindset, you got to challenge the mind, you got to do this, they don't understand anything about the body. They're talking from their asshole and not their heart. And they're definitely not talking from their brain. Because there's the electromagnetic dominance that the heart has. The heart's electromagnetic field is 60 times stronger than the brain's. It's literally broadcasting your state into the field. The field is where we're creating. It's where we're manifesting. It's the intelligence meeting the reality of the physicality. The last step in manifesting is the physicality. If you compare this to childbirth, getting down and funky was the first step. Screaming in the labor room and the day that you give birth, where all hell breaks loose, that's the last step. And so when you are putting things into the intelligence, the field around you, the knowledge, the quantum energy, when your heart is still stuck in the battle, when you're saying, where's my platform and not my pit, you're not understanding who you are and what you were meant to do. And you're coming from the brain and not the heart. If you were to just start spending 10 minutes of heart-focused breathing, the antibodies in your actual cellular physical body would start to improve by 50 fucking %, man. Your mind's belief in this mindset, that's your bodyguard to the future. You're thinking that it's never going to be enough and you're not enough because the ghost of that memory is stronger than the heart that desires it. And so you're letting the 17,000 rule the 40. And hustle culture, it's spiritual bypassing for capitalists. Leading with your heart or bleeding out in the trenches of overthinking. You know, Rumi has a quote, "The world is the place where the light enters you." Where is the light entering you in this battlefield of life? Because we have to reset and reclaim our sovereignty. And we have to go from survival to sanctified. Because one of the first things that we have to remember is that our heart first is the reboot. And so I want you to do something with me just for 90 seconds. We don't have to do it. You can listen. You can do it later. But if you put your hands on your heart for 90 seconds, it increases just the oxytocin and it shrinks the amygdala. And if you've listened to me long enough, you know that the amygdala is the big old tattletale of the brain. Makes us think that we can't and we're not worthy. And when we put our palms on our chest and we breathe into our knuckles, I want you to whisper into your heart. Before you were here, you were forged. Before you were here, you were sealed. Before you were here, you were anointed. That's why you didn't break. That's why you're not in the biggest pitfall. That's why you're not on the other side, because you're here to be an example. Okay? Whisper into the heart. I am sealed. I am safe. I am sovereign. And then you're going to feel like this warmth spreading all throughout you and your room and your energy and your life. That's your light reactivating. That's your God source energy. That's why you're here, babe. And doing this practice, this ancestral armor activation, if you will, it reduces PTSD symptoms by 3 times faster than talk therapy, according to Johns Hopkins Institute. The other thing that I'm going to ask you to do today, besides putting your hand on your heart and speaking into it, is I want you to just go find any candle you can. Don't worry about the color, the shape, or the size, and light it. Name one battle you survived. And then I want you to grab a pen and paper and write this down. This pain had purpose. I claim its power. And write for 20 minutes about the purpose of that pain and how you're the alchemist to transmute it. And afterwards, I want you to blow out the candle because smoke carries and claims this to the universe. And so as you understand this for yourself, I want you to understand that you've been stuck in this blueprint and this psychological story of all of these wounds that were supposed to be a footnote in your story. And you can't have a spiritual revolution without a heart revolution. And in order for you to dismantle all of this toxic positivity of mindset, you're going to have to understand who you are. And let that information that I gave you carry you into the next dimension. Your suffering isn't your fault, but your sanctification is your fucking responsibility. And you're not just a person, you're a prophecy in progress. I want you to step into what heaven already knows about you. Because when all of this darkness came after you, when the hardest things that hit you, the things that have broken so many others, just taught you how sealed you were, what a prophet you are, what a prophecy your life will become and is an example for others. You start to recognize what manifesting means. Manifesting is the idea of bringing something from your thought to reality. And therefore, in this 3D reality, you're playing this conscious game with an unconscious reality. And the more that you awaken, the more empathetic you become, the more that you become untouchable. You see, if you were somebody who wasn't sealed, it would have broke you, it would have killed you. But even hell knows that there is a line that they can't cross with you. You've been hit, you've been wounded, but you were never taken out. And it goes beyond logic to think this way because you didn't crumble, you survived. And that's the storm that made you stronger. It sealed you. You know, somebody who, like myself, that has neurodivergent tendencies, we tend to see patterns. And these patterns are existing because there's a line that can't be crossed with the destiny of you. And you've forgotten how powerful you are. And you've forgotten because of all of the atrocities that are going on. But they're going on in this timeline because you have to consciously decide to create in chaos and not be defeated by it. It's not supposed to get easier. It's supposed to get more expansive. And you're not going to walk. You're forged. You're carried. There's a bubble around you. You're not in a battle. You are the battlefield. And you weren't born into conflict. You create it, and it's attracted to you because the light overshadows the dark. And so when those battlefields come up, they know that if they break you, they've broken the light. And you might be down, and you might be broken, and you might be bruised, but baby, you are sealed, you are blessed, you are anointed, you are protected. And there's something way bigger than you carrying the weight of all of this. And I want you to lean into your spiritual gravity when it looks like there's nobody there and it's all you. It's not. I don't want you to be distracted. I don't want you to feel alone. I want you to understand that you are the one. The wound is the place where the light enters. And if your mindset is blocking you from your miracles, it's becoming your bodyguard because your amygdala is saying, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to fight. It's not about fighting, baby. It's about expansion. And it's about turning that story into the song of the songbird in your heart. So I want you to do those mind-heart coherence exercises by putting your hand on your heart and saying what I asked you to say, and to remember that it's not a mindset, but it's a dismantling of the bro mindset bullshit that everybody wants to spew at you. Saying these affirmations 100 times. Do this consistently. No. You got to know how the brain works, baby. You have to understand that you have 90 seconds when you wake up to activate that reticular activation system in your brain and to connect the heart with the field. Because we know that those neuron cells that wire together, they fire together, just like healthy cells multiply and unhealthy cells multiply. One is going to create cancer and one's going to create clarity. And so the more that you operate from your field of love, feeling that center point action, that's why I asked you to speak to yourself. That's why I asked you to talk to your heart. That's why I asked you to breathe into it. That's why I asked you to journal and light that candle. Your suffering isn't your fault, but it is your fucking responsibility now that you know to change it. And when we are no longer able to change a situation, we're challenged to change ourselves. And I want you to stop living in this gilded cage where you feel safe because you don't want to see anything else scary. Scary is what you came here for. You're an amazingly protected and divinely blessed person. And you've just focused your energy into the wrong timeline. So please do the ancestral armor activation and do your heart first reboot. But I also want to remind you that my community, the Secret Society of Manifesting, is spending the month of July and August on these coherence drills. Every Monday, we activate your cardiac intelligence with your astrology reading. Every Monday, I'm going to tell you whether you're a fire sign, a water sign, an air sign, or an earth sign, the best way to use all of this planetary action to align yourself with the best week possible. And you even get a workbook, and if you can't make it, it's recorded. So boom, there you go. I make it easy peasy. You can watch it on your lunch break. And every month, you get 3 workshops. 3 different times you get to keep up with your spiritual hygiene. You want to know why it's not working? It's because you're not consistent in your spiritual hygiene. You're not consistently feeding the field with the information that is needed to expand and to heal. And so I created this community, the Secret Society of Manifestors, so you have options. You don't have to come to every single one of them or any at all. But having that community right there at your fingertips gives you the option of having it. You can watch it when it's recorded. You don't have to attend it live. You have all of these people that are just waiting to hear your story and talk to you and see you and support you. And most of all, I'll be there with you. I'm going to be hosting all of these. I'm going to be teaching. I'm going to be leading. And I'm going to be holding your hand for less than $20 a month. But right now, you can do the first month for free. Let me buy you a month worth of me. Because you're going to have to get off the sidelines at some point. You're going to have to get off of this I'm not ready yet ideology and say, fuck it, I'm in it. Fuck it, I'm in it. I am forged. I am sealed. I am worthy, and I am ready. And if you're absolutely ready, if you really want to hold my hand, if you really want to see how big you can be, I want you to really take a chance on yourself. This September 12th through the 14th, I'm having my Billionaire Bel Air Beach Retreat. It's 50% sold out. We'll physically anoint you with the sealed carrier oil and rewrite your nervous system vows on the beach, under the stars, amongst the wealthiest of the wealthy. I want you to forge a new reality and hold hands with other sisters in hand. And together, the 10 of us will commune, will create, will do something you've never done in your life. Because when you cheat yourself, You never treat yourself. Okay? And I've made it even easier. You can pay for half of the retreat up front and half of it when you get back. So you only need to pay for 50% up front to arrive on the beach on September 12th. I want you to know that the brain-heart coherence is going to change your world. I don't want you stuck in that old story. We're here to dismantle that ridiculous toxic positivity ideology. And I know you feel validated here because you're going to demand empowerment. And I'm so proud of you because you're ready to reset, recalibrate, and realign your reality. Your suffering isn't your fault, but it's now your responsibility to do something about it. I'm so proud of you. And I know no matter what, you're shattering the glass, and the war drums that you've been singing can now be silenced, and almost like an off, out in the distance, low hum reminding you, I'm inside of you, but I don't rule you. I'm inside of you, but I don't rule you. I'm inside of you, but I don't rule you. I'm inside of you, but I don't rule you. I am the storm waiting for the storm, but I'm also the peace. And you can do it easy or you can do it hard. But the universe is ready for you to take that next step. And if you are ready to get off the sidelines and into the spotlight of your life, so am I. It's time for you to say yes to yourself. It's time for you to take my offer of a free 4 weeks in my community, SSOM. Click the show notes right there and get started right now. You're going to get an activation email, and then you're going to get an invite to all of the workshops with the Zooms, and you can watch all of the prior ones and pick up the workbooks right now. But you're going to have to make a choice. You're going to have to step out. You're going to have to see how you were never too much. You were going to have to see how you were always exactly what you were supposed to be. The distraction was there to confuse you. The distraction was there to make you feel less, but it's not the evidence of what you're not. It's the evidence of who you fucking are. It's the evidence of how important you are. It's the evidence of that you are the one. You were made for more, baby. You weren't made to fit in. You were made to make the echoes and the ripples and the waves. That's why people are drawn to your light. And that's why so many people have tried to dim it. But no matter what they do, they're not sealed like you. You're here to disrupt the darkness with your light. You're known, you're loved, and most importantly, you're a motherfucking manifester. Now, if this is your first time listening, my name is Michelle Juanita Lamont. I'm a manifesting master who's here to change your life. I want you to listen to another episode and another episode and another episode. But most importantly, join SSOM, the Secret Society of Manifestors. Step in. Stop being scared. Stop being worried. Stop doing it alone. It may sound crazy at first, but you were never meant to be ordinary. You were never meant to be safe. You were never meant to blend in. You were chosen not by bloodline, but by birthright. And I'm here to make sure that you see yourself the way that God sees you, that way that heaven sees you, the way that the light knows that you are. So if this is your first time, we always end the same way. And in 3, 2, 1. Everything is always working out for us. Everything is always working out for us. Everything is always working out for us. Everything, everything, everything. Me. Everything is always working out for 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 me. Everything, 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 everything. Okay, my spiritual bestie. I love you. I love you. I love you. Fuck, if you could just see what they see, if you could just see who you are in energy, you wouldn't be scared. You wouldn't be walking alone. You wouldn't be in fear. Come in, join us. Let me hold your hand. I love you. I'll buy you a month. I'll buy you a month and then it's up to you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Producers, cue that motherfucking music. Until next time, go manifest your miracles. I'm Michelle J. Lamont, and you got this, and baby, I got you. All right, let's go for it. I love you. I love you.